My name is Lydia Neuroth, and I'm the project manager for the Virginia Untold project at the Library of Virginia. This is a video tutorial that explains how to index our free registers from the Virginia Untold project. This tutorial will explain how to index this new collection on the library's transcription platform from the page. I'll describe the From the Page site. I will also introduce the process of indexing and provide an example of how data collections such as this can be applied for historic research. And finally, I will provide a demonstration on how to index a line from a register page. Virginia Untold is a digital project that provides access to records in our collections that document the experiences of enslaved and free Black people from before the Civil War. Virginia Untold exists as a database of digital images that allows you to search for original records. Many of the documents now available in our Virginia Untold database have been transcribed into Word documents by the public. The Virginia Untold website can be accessed using the URL at the top of the screen. We are continuously uploading new records to our Virginia Untold website. As a part of our 2-year NHPRC grant, we scanned and digitized nearly 40 registers documenting free people of color in Virginia. We have uploaded them to our transcription platform in order to gain the public's help in getting them fully indexed and available through Virginia Untold. In 1793, the Virginia General Assembly specified that free Negroes or mulattoes were required to be registered and numbered in a book to be kept by the town clerk. The clerk recorded details such as the free person's name, age, skin complexion, height, and emancipation status. These register books document rich genealogical and other valuable research data on free people of color in antebellum Virginia. From the Page is a crowdsourcing platform the Library of Virginia uses for transcribing documents with the public. From the Page hosts documents from many different libraries and archives. The library has a variety of collections, including documents from Virginia Untold. We launched our free register collection on From the Page in March 2022. You may notice that the pages from each of these registers are recorded in 2 different styles, a narrative style on the left and a more ledger-based style on the right. It is difficult to transcribe these 2 pages in the same way, or in other words, it is not possible to apply a universal transcription method. In many ways, these registers resemble modern-day form documents, meaning they repeat the same types of information in each entry. We don't necessarily need to transcribe every word in the document. Rather, we need to pull out the important and unique information for each individual and drop it into a field-based spreadsheet that we've created. We refer to this process as indexing. We export these spreadsheets and collect the data for use in other platforms like the Virginia Open Data Portal and enslaved.org, where it can be harnessed and used by researchers. The information from each entry in the free register relates to an indexing field we have created in our From the Page platform. As an indexer, you are responsible for extracting this data and recording it in the appropriate field. A few years ago, we worked with researchers at the University of Georgia to create a project known as CSI Dixie. This project collected data on mortality rates across the South using documents known as coroner's inquisitions. Coroner's inquisitions are investigations into unusual deaths, and they were performed on both white and Black individuals beginning in the early 18th century. As a part of Virginia Untold, we have processed almost all of our coroner's inquisitions from various Virginia localities and digitized them. We have also indexed them. In addition to Virginia, CSI Dixie also examined coroner's inquisitions from Missouri and South Carolina. Because we've indexed our coroner's inquisitions and the data was readily available, a research team like CSI Dixie could easily manipulate our spreadsheets to extract percentages of death, follow trends, and create data visualizations like the one on the screen. In addition to examining death by race, they also looked at things like gender, enslaved status, and death over time, all pieces of the records we have chosen to capture in our Virginia Untold indexing spreadsheets. By indexing our free registers, you have the opportunity to contribute to a future data project such as this. Let's check out how this process works for our free registers in the From the Page platform. To begin, you can access the register's collections on the From the Page site, indicated here at the top of the screen. If you know which locality you're interested in working in, you can scroll through the various pages. These registers are listed in alphabetical order, and jump to a particular locality. You can also go directly to the Pages That Need Transcription button, which will take you to a page that has not yet been indexed. Before getting started, however, please use the Help tab in the far right tabs at the top of the page that provide instructions on how to index the collection. In addition to providing really helpful guidelines, like how and when to round up in height and decimal values, it also provides an example of a complete transcription that you may use for reference later on. But for now, let's take a look at a particular page from the Powhatan County Register of Free Negroes and Mulattoes from 1820 to 1865. The first line has already been completed, so let's drop down to the second line here on the page. It appears that this individual's first name is Queen. There is no middle name provided. Her last name appears to be Howard. The registration number appears to be 453. Note that there is no alias for Queen. An alias would be a nickname or some other name that's provided. The date of registration appears to be the same as the one previous. The line above for Eliza was October 7th, 1839. These DOs indicate that it is meant to be the same entry as the previous line. So we're actually going to spell it out so that we can capture that as unique data. The same would go for all of the lines following that are meant to indicate the same thing. Queen's age is listed as 30. We don't want to assume that Queen is a female based on her first name, their first name alone. But it appears that in the marks and scars field, it's indicated that her pronoun is indicated as her. So in this case, we could assign a gender to her, female. Queen's color is listed as black. The height is 5 feet. It appears to be 3 inches. And I'm going to use this little bar at the top of the screen to zoom in and write out verbatim what the clerk wrote. Has a scar on her right wrist. I'm going to keep tabbing over using my arrow keys. Queen's status, her free status, appears to be the same as, again, Eliza's. Eliza was born free, so we're going to write the same status for Queen. And it appears that Queen was also born in Powhatan County, so we can indicate that in her place of birth. It doesn't appear that any other information is provided. Therefore, we're going to leave all of these other fields blank. We're done with Queen's line, so we can save. And just a few things before I navigate away from this page. You can change the layout, so we could put the image at the bottom or to the right. I also want to note that this particular document in which you're entering data can be used the same way as an Excel spreadsheet. So if we know that all of the following entries are going to be black, we could actually drop down this column here in the same way you would in an Excel spreadsheet. We can copy and paste, we can jump rows. I would actually suggest using the arrow keys to navigate within this document. It's a little bit easier than using your mouse. And just finally, a few things while we wrap up. The purpose of this transcription project is to index data, not transcribe every word on the page. You'll notice that there are often more indexing fields than which you have for information. Leave the fields blank if the entry does not provide that information. For example, don't infer that a person was born in a locality just because they're emancipated there. But also make sure you're not missing details. For example, if a free person is listed as the daughter of a named individual, this named individual should be listed in the mother or father field. Please use the formatting provided in the From the Page spreadsheet for consistency purposes. For height, inches should be rounded to the nearest quarter of an inch and entered as a decimal rather than a fraction. And finally, enjoy this process, but please be respectful, realizing that each of these entries records an actual human life. And that human life probably did not enjoy the full freedom to which they were entitled.